Cassiopeia Moonlight slipped into the world on a wind-still morning, 18 February 1998, in a corrugated tin birthing shack perched above the mangrove swamps of Apalachicola Bay, Florida. Outside, marsh grass hissed with fiddler crabs, and a lonely osprey called circles in the dawn haze. Her mother, a traveling Delta blues harmonica player who tucks pressed magnolia petals inside her reed pouch, breathed a slow 12-bar lullaby that made the rafters hum. Her father, a shrimp boat electrician who sketches cloud dragons on bait receipts, bent so close their foreheads touched, and promised his newborn daughter that tides, gossip, and rusted hinges all give way to anyone bold enough to stand full width and never fold smaller. Curves wander every limb of the Moonlight family tree, the same way brackish water seeps through oyster shoals. So nobody blinked when baby Cassie split a second muslin wrap long before the nurse located the scissors. Granny Lula teased a sailmaker's needle beneath each strained thread, widened the wrap with scraps sliced from an old cast net, then laughed that extra cloth cost nickels, while teaching a child to shrink can cost her a lifetime of sunrise horizons. Grade school corridors smelled of pencil shavings, fried grouper sandwiches, and soggy salt air that snuck in around warped window frames. Cassiopeia already loomed ahead above her classmates, shading the overhead projector anytime she diagrammed compound subjects on the board. One muggy recess, two boys hop-skipped around her, chanting crab barge each time her rain boots thudded onto the hop grid. That night she prowled the tide-line hunting, soda caps buffed mirror-smooth by Gulf tides, threaded them on fishing twine, stitched the tinkling spine down her sea-green hoodie, and marched into class next sunrise, scattering prism sparks across ceiling tiles. A volunteer reading coach filmed 8 shaky seconds on a prepaid flip phone, posted the glimmer to a fledgling video site, and by lunchtime 15,000 strangers applauded the girl who twisted ridicule into light. Cassie wrote a vow in purple gel pen along the edge of her vocabulary sheet. Clouds crowd only until you flash them bright enough to part. Saturdays belonged to the Bayfront boardwalk, where her mother's harmonica wail intertwined with the hiss of hush puppies, the crack of oyster shells, and shrimp trawlers grumbling toward the channel. Store-bought jeans jammed short at Cassie's thighs, so she bartered tip-jaw quarters for sun-bleached deck rope, unraveled it into soft cord, crocheted high-waist culottes, misted pelican silhouettes in squid ink, and posed at sunset against barnacle-crusted pilings while her cousin snapped grainy photos. She launched an online diary named Moon Lantern the exact week a new photo app flickered across coastal cell towers. Captions bounced from panhandle slang to direct English truths like, "Curves anchor hurricanes steadier than sea walls." Before her 16th birthday, 54,000 unseen friends thumped hearts on each tangerine dust shot. Proof that distant screams can drown cafeteria whispers louder than any librarian hush. A marine robotics scholarship hauled her west to Louisiana State University. Daylight vanished inside wet lab neurite sensors. Nights belonged to a 24-hour po' boy truck glowing neon lemon beside live oak roots. The heat lamp served as her single softbox. Between crawfish orders, she filmed 90-second reels, folding parchment wraps into camellia barrettes, while explaining dart manipulation in a voice half Tide hush, half lecture zing. Unclipped, looped, bottlenose whistles on a pocket synth beat while she chain-stitched reflective anchor line into thrift denim. 48 hours later, the reel sailed past 1.2 million plays. Gulf Coast style blogs dubbed her the Pope Boy Couturier, yet sponsor emails clanged to a halt at size 16. Cassie shuffled each pitch into a folder called Shrinking Nets, wiped hot sauce from her cuff, and grabbed another baguette. A Blue North coat front delivered an email from Columbia Sportswear, inviting her to craft a windshield capsule titled Bayou Pulse. She answered with 3 immovable terms: patterns reaching 60-inch hips, half the production crew recruited from community college design programs, and 10% of net profit channeled into seagrass restoration around Apalachicola Estuary. Columbia signed before pelicans gulped the first sunrise. The shoot floated at dawn on a cypress swamp where spoonbills painted pink flashes in the moss fog. Cassiopeia coached curvy paddleboarders through mirror water while a drone traced lazy circles overhead. When the lookbook landed, every extended-size shell vanished within 41 hours in 26 countries. Moon Lantern led past 700,000 followers, still smelling of horseradish. Mail she ducked behind flour sacks. relax, balance her phone atop a mustard bucket, and live streamed tear-bright thanks beneath buzzing fluorescence. First, she'll whisper, pause right here and tap subscribe if the tide of this story already tugged your ribs. That small click keeps each new voyage lapping at your screen long before algorithm winds decide who else gets a peek. Spotlight shimmered drew rumor goals. A gossip vlog claimed Cassiopeia cinched a steel brace around her waist beneath her Columbia jackets. Pre-dawn, she paddled a cedar board past oyster bars, stood steady in sports bra and linen shorts, traced each stretch line with crushed bougainvillea, and blew a harmonica riff that bounced off the harbor wall. 10 million viewers reposted the jam tag bougainvillea proof, brushing pink dust onto their own curves until gossip sank like dropped anchor. Oh boy, wages woven with capsule royalties bubbled into Moonlight Glow, a whipped body custard folding seafoam butter, Tupelo honey oil, and mica sparks that flash pearl under phone flash. 19,010s cooled on her father's workbench, lids tied with braided trotline and stamped moisturize your horizon. Stock vanished in 82 minutes, raising $199,000. 20% launch Beacon Grant shipping heavy-duty surgers and hydrophone kits to plus-size teens in Marthland schools, from Biloxi to Brunswick. 9 months later, 36 grant winners staged a floating fashion and dolphin song showcase aboard a repurposed trawler strung with LED Spartina grass, streamed live to breakfast anchors from Palermo to Pretoria. New Orleans Fashion Week etched fresh waterfront lore when a backstage vent fan sliced her emerald mesh gown from rib to knee 80 heartbeats before runway call. Cassie rips neon dock rope off a cable drum, laced the gash like hiking loops, and strode the walkway as if the splice lived on every line sheet. Camera shutters cracked like king mackerel on cast iron. Vogue Delta Christian the save rope cadence, and another million lantern keepers surfaced before the brass band blew its first bar. Sabotage tried again when a former rep leaked chop emails claiming she demanded gator sliders and chauffeured airboats for her rescue pelican Zephyr. Cassiopeia posted the full chain, refillable water urns, black-eyed pea stew for crew, caption monitors for deaf stylists, then sent that month's affiliate revenue, $138,000, toward biodegradable crab trap pilots in 3 estuaries. Fans echoed her peer credo, receipts shine brighter than rumor silt, and whispers drifted out with the ebb. A midsummer moon lantern glittered across 6.7 million Instagram hearts, 3.3 million real voyagers, and 2 million unwavering channel subscribers, engagement flirting with 10% forcing ad planners back to blank whiteboards. Cartier tapped her to front a topaz surge reel inside Biloxi's century-old lighthouse lens. She accepted after Cartier pledged therapy stipends for oyster deck crews bruised by hurricane seasons. The finished film, her wrist scattering amber shards across iron ribs, became Cartier's most saved post of the quarter. Honey Smina heaps her compass lock. Twice a month, she streams strings and steam. Mom slides soulful bends on harmonica beside a propane skillet. Dad recites cloud haiku, and Cassiopeia flips thrift denim under fairy bulbs. One session peaked at 9 million when Zephyr waddled through powdered sugar and sneezed a frosty cloud onto the mic. A seabird rescue now sponsors every stream, tagging rehabilitated pelicans with solar beacons funded by Moonlight Glow. Glow revenue sailed beyond 12 million within its second year. She leased a retired oyster shucking plant, sliced skylights through corrugated roof sheets, and hired furloughed deckhands plus design grads to whip and jar custard. Every tin knot shut by hand during midday stretch dances to harmonica house mashups. Logistics gurus begged for heat shrink bands. She answered with her mother's truth. Fingertips keep legends long after robots forget, and rope ties remained. Mental health honesty glows through her feed. Salt marsh portraits sit beside truck dock selfies, captioned, "Same sky, different weather." Breath loops recorded within abandoned lighthouse stairwells, compared with grounding sheets in English Angola, plus sliding scale therapy links. 110,000 users credit her shoreline candor as their first calm harbor. Community rods glare with crushed shell paint. Hundreds coast the Bay Bridge at dusk, wearing Moonlight Glow across collarbones and LED oyster shell tassels on spokes. Ticket proceeds deepen Beacon Grants and install wheelchair snorkel lifts at Inlet Springs. Gumbo stalls simmer late because bowl sales hike 15% on ride nights. Cassiopeia pedals lead on a vintage cruiser with Zephyr plush bungeed up front, pausing to tighten any rider's drooping lace. A memoir titled Currents Keep Names lands next spring in 11 languages while a streaming crew shadows her dream to turn retired weather buoys into floating maker labs for barrier or line high schools. Puma's wide-to-wave lantern sneakers drop next quarter, threaded with reflective rope and cushioned by algae foam, funneling 10% of revenue straight into beacon projects up and down the Gulf Rim. Second short liner reminder, if your subscribe button is still red, swipe it gray right now. That one tap anchors your seat for all upcoming voyages before algorithm storms shuffle the deck. Then the story finds its quiet. Glide into the description. Waiting there, fresh Moonlight Glow restocks, express entry to the next beacon grant cycle, tonight's Streams and Steam playlist in a discrete compass, a research-rooted guide stacked with conversation sparks and calm confidence rituals that map the clearest lane toward real love and the most reliable way to make any woman you meet feel that genuine spark. Free, unpaywalled, one click away. If the Soda Cat Spiral Cadence Gown Save or Zephyr's Sugar Sneeze made you smile, smash the like heart. Share your brightest ripple in the comments. And hand this voyage to a friend who sails sag in still water. Every curve redirects currents. Every scar refracts moonlight. And the Gulf sky bows to anyone who plants both boots on the pier and greets tomorrow wide-eyed. Third whisper of salt breeze drifts over your speaker. Subscribe right now. Claim your proud rail and meet me on the next rising tide when another story flickers beyond the breakers and courage calls your name once more.